Welcome, beloved. Welcome, my brother. Welcome, my sister, to Kulimanje. In this place, we talk about and we deal with things that are happening today. As long as it is today, Kulimanje. We'll look at the things that matter to us today. Some of them uncomfortable, some of them unavoidable. And here we are talking about them. Here we are having a platform where we can deal with them. So today I'm going to be talking about syncretism and the theory of substitution. Yeah, high fancy sounding words and all that, or academic, but let's break it down now. What is syncretism? Syncretism is combining separate concepts and making them into a whole new idea. So let's take, for example, you've got your cultural belief system on one side, then you've got your religious belief system on the other side, right? So let's say you are based in your religious belief system, but you take what is in your cultural belief system and mesh it together to form something new, something flavored, or your cultural flavored Christianity. Well, it might look cool, and you might say, well, yeah, it gets the best of both worlds. But now, why would it matter? Why would it matter? But before we talk about why would that matter and why it matters in this session that we're talking about it, let's look at what is substitution, so that we have this overview. Then we can deal with these two concepts and see why they matter in our lives. So what is the theory of substitution? And listen, the theory of substitution is something that I have coined, for lack of a better word. I don't know, I haven't found a word out there, or according to my scope of knowledge and all that. So if you after you hear the definition of theory of substitution, and you say, well, hey, Larry, I know what you're talking about. This is what it is called. Fantastic. Drop it in the comments and give us that fresh perspective. Otherwise, here it is. The theory of substitution is the inability for a group of people, an individual, to recognize their own syncretism. Right? So we are able to check out, let's say, the people who came before us. We notice what they did, what they added, let's say, to the word. In the case of Christians like myself, what they added to the constitution of the nation, which was not in the spirit of the constitution of the nation. Because yet, yes, again, syncretism can be looked at in that way. It is not supposed to be just something that is just religious, but it can pervade, or it can permeate a good number of systems, bringing things that are, that are not supposed to be the order of that system into the system, so that they can benefit, let's say, our own individual motives and motivations. Right? Now you see where I'm going with this. So substitution will be, well, yeah, we recognize their stuff, but we do not take time to actually, what's the right word, to take account, to have an audit on how our own things that we need, we are also, mixing them up into the fabric of the very thing that takes care of us. Listen, beloved, very important to recognize this. The ethos, the way of life of Yahweh is universal, right? Inasmuch, I know this is difficult, right? I know this is difficult because we are individuals. We want to do what we want. And just as this topic that we're talking about today, it deals with ourselves, the things that we want, the things that are based on us. And that is the root of all things, beloved. The root of all things here, the root of what we are going through, the vibe, the color of the earth, the flavor of who you are is based on basically what is driving you, your own motivations. And your own motivations might not necessarily be based on the universal motivations. So there is a bedrock of, there's a bedrock of thought. There is a bedrock of belief, and that bedrock of belief is founded in Yahweh. Yes, it is founded in Yahweh. Drop your comments below if you feel like, yeah, Kulimanje, I am not agreeing with you. I feel this is it. I feel this is that. Right. This is a place you are welcome. Bring your views. Let's discuss your views. But yeah, here we are. Let's, let's open the door instead of having a keyhole worldview. So there we have it. We have syncretism, and we have that thing again, the theory of substitution. So these two go together. You say, why does it matter? These two go together. You will notice that these are the two things that buttress any belief system. These are two things that create what we are as people, and you would see that they have to do with our value system, the things that we actually do value, and the things that, let's say, in Christianity, will find themselves in Christianity and become the dominant, dominant precepts or dominant tenets of the faith. And you find that that is where people are, instead of recognizing the true tenets of the faith. And that is what I want to talk about here when I'm talking about syncretism and substitution, right? You find that what is happening right now in the faith is we have brought in so much of the things that we want, and we have used the word of Yahweh to justify our stuff, right? Let's talk about spiritual things. Here, where I hail from in Africa, right now we have got an onslaught of West African, belief systems that have come into the church as spiritual concepts. And they sound very, very interesting, and they sound like wisdom, and you want to participate in them. But when you look at the basis of where this is coming from, there is no basis from Yahweh. Yeah, I'm not going to say I'll speak for Yahweh in this case, right? Yahweh has got his own things. Yeah, let's wait again. Yeah, let me speak about that. Yahweh has got his own way of doing things, and there are things that have been given to us which are, basically there. But yeah, let's go back to the topic. Things come into the faith. Things that, when you look at them on face value, they look like, like wisdom, but in actual sense, they have got no part of the universal bedrock of the faith. This is very important. We need to recognize, one, our own stuff that we are bringing in, our own motivations, and to also recognize where Yahweh is. If this is an organization, as we call it, isn't it? There is the executive, there is the executive objectives of this organization. So us who are on the floor, we've got middle managers. Those who are on the floor, most of us are citizens in this organization or in this kingdom, and we are floor people, right? So we get to do things that come from above, our objectives trickling down all the way to us, so that we can, put flesh on those objectives and create product and all of the stuff that, the objectives require from us to do, isn't it? So in that sense, then, we do not work based on our own feelings or our own motivations. We work based on the motivations of our executive. That is where I'm taking this, so that you begin to understand the root and why syncretism. Let's do this again.
Syncretism.
Let's do it again. Let's do this again.
Syncretism.
Yeah, syncretism. So that we understand the root of syncretism and how it is eating away, how it is turning the focus from it being Yahweh focused and being our focus. All right. One other day we were having a conversation with one of my colleagues, and this is what transpired. I know I was being a thorn. I was prodding. I was like, look, there is such an emphasis in the church, and you're going to bite my head on this one. There's such an emphasis on the church on how we have made certain things divine. We've put them in front. Let's say marriage, right? You quote scriptures for me. Let's say things like money. You quote scriptures for me. Let's say things about power, how we should manage the church. You will quote scriptures for me, and you tell me these scriptures justify this and that and that. But when we come back to it, it is ultimately the purpose of Yahweh that matters. What is the purpose of Yahweh? Where is He? What are His executive decisions based on what He wants to achieve? Not on our culture, not on our values and all that. No, our values don't figure first in this. The values of Yahweh, that is what figures first. When we get the values of Yahweh, then our own value system becomes Yahweh's value system, and we and Yahweh are in agreement and harmonious and actually getting exactly what we need. So, yeah, that is a bit on syncretism and the theory of substitution. Be aware of these things. It is time to really look at what we are throwing into the faith, what we are justifying as canon, what we are justifying as, divine law. Is it based on us or is it based on Jesus? Because it is Jesus' stuff ultimately that matters, not our stuff. Right? There's a lot of things in the church currently that are happening that are not supposed to be there. There's divination happening in the church in the name of, there is, prosperity for, I don't know, that is happening in the name of, there is power struggles in the church that are happening in the name of, right. So let's check out what is happening in our lives right now. Let's check out what is happening in the church. Let's root out our own stuff so that ultimately what matters is the reign and the way and the principle and the plan of our Lord Jesus Christ. This is Kulimanje. If there's something that you want to talk about regarding this topic, please let's start the conversation in the comments. Shalom, shalom.